Hi, this is Iain from Part Chimp. I'm getting involved. Joe's asked me to get involved with 5 and 5 for wrong speed. So if I've only got 5 minutes, I'm going to dive in and talk about 5 releases I've been listening to a lot fairly recently. And I'm going to start with Escala Grind. This is, for some reason, I go through different phases of listening to super reflective music, and other times I just want music that it's all on display, kind of just naked aggression, craziness. Escala Grind is also, it's from groups of new musicians, and in this case kind of the hardcore scene musicians that are taking over from the old school scene. They're way more inclusive, way more diverse, way more interesting because they're just doing their own thing and they're not following other people's rules. It's a really nice release. Came out in 2022 on a nice kind of bright orange vinyl. Really like this. People in the same scene at the moment that I've also been enjoying are people like Gel, people like Zulu, people like Godmother. I mean, they're all coming from different places, but really, really interesting bands. In Edinburgh, there's a great band, similar in my mind, called Kakihara. Really worth checking out, but that Escala Grind record's a goodie. Next record, and I'm sticking in the same kind of extreme theme, is this Erupt record. It's a 7-inch. It's, I think, 5 songs on here. It came out last year. I think I read a review on the Quietus, and was it Noel Gardner? He's super enthusiastic about certain things, and when he talked about this, it's a very sort of punky hardcore take on almost old school black metal. Really, really interesting. Has Celtic Frost elements. Celtic Frost were very punky to begin with, and but also goes into territory of like early Slayer and craziness like that. Really good Australian band. Came out in 2022. They may still have some of these 7 inches available on Static Shock Records, but really nice on green slime coloured vinyl. Changing the pace for the next couple, I've really been enjoying this Arouaf Aftab record. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right. This is a lady, I think she would identify as Pakistani American, but the music is very influenced from loads of kind of tonalities that come historically from the East. I like it a lot, this record. There was one particular track, Mahabat, that I kept seeing places, and there's some live performance of it, and it's just kind of hypnotic and really interesting the way that she's working her voice. There's a little bit too much reverb on this record for my liking, but it's still a fantastic record and still something that you're not going to hear every day from a lot of other people. Okay, my fourth, if I'm going to keep to time, and my penultimate release is this BrainWalHera album. I used to be a huge geek for all of the kind of IDM scene, the people that came out of the Reflex scene, the stuff that was being released on Warp and everything like this, and made all of these different compilations to try and get 12 inches into formats that I could listen to them without having to have the vinyl with me, and there was a particular mood to a lot of those releases. Very sort of mellow, but interesting sounds, interesting use of different effects, and discovery of different kind of reverbs and instrumentation. This BrainWalHera album, I think it just came out last year. It's the guy behind it is anonymous. I think there's a lot of people recognize elements that might be similar to CFAX Acid Crew from the Reflex scene. I think it's got a little bit of influence of there's a guy called Christopher Horn who used to be one of the original members of Boards of Canada before they became a duo, and he recorded as Christ, and the kind of mood of a lot of the records is in this. This is a beautiful release, double vinyl with I think there's a font included in stickers for something. It's a really beautiful release. And lastly, this Pharoah Sanders album. I'm huge jazz fan. I basically had an experience years ago. My family travelled when I was little. Travelled to Paris, and we went to the Louvre, and I had a cassette in a Walkman that was just it was an Ornette Coleman record with weird guitars on it as well as other things, called Dancing in Your Head, which I don't think is easy to get hold of. I paid through the nose for some kind of CD reissue, which I don't have to hand at the moment, but it was recorded around about the same time as this Pharoah Sanders record, which just has this strange kind of phaser affected guitar and mellow saxophone. I was listening a lot to the Promises record, and when this Pharoah record came out, which was recorded in '76, but it was just reissued, this beautiful reissue full of pictures and booklets and essays and things. It's absolutely gorgeous, fantastic release, fantastic record. I do not think I've kept to time. Sorry about that, Joe and everyone, but those are my 5 releases. Ian from Part Chimp signing off. Thank you.